Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Yasir Hussain from Pakistan Studies Department, Army Public School and College, Ordnance Road, with lecture number 5. And today our topic is the Khilafat movement from chapter number 1. The objectives of our topic are: describe the background and reasons for the establishment of the Khilafat movement. Highlight the important events of the Khilafat movement and its objectives. And then analyze the results and consequences of the Khilafat movement. Dear students, as usual, before starting to discuss today's topic, just a quick recap of the previous lecture. The previous lecture was about that of the Muslim League, in which we have discussed about the background and the reasons for its establishment, and then the objectives of the establishment of All India Muslim League and the change in its objective was discussed. Dear students, now we will discuss about the Khilafat movement, its events and outcomes. Before starting discussion, we will try to understand the word Khilafat. Khilafat refers to a system of governance in Islam. The ruler and the leader of the entire Ummah was known as Khalifa. In Arabic language, Khalifa means the successor. So, Khilafat was started after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, the Muslims all over the world have great regard for Khilafat, as it was based on the teachings of Quran and Sunnah. So this was one of the important things you should know about Khilafat. Now, as far as the Khilafat movement is concerned, for its introduction, the Khilafat movement was started by Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar and Maulana Shaukat Ali brothers. They are known, they are famous, and others like Maulana Abdul Kalam and others also participated in this movement. This movement was started in 1919 to support the Ottoman Empire, Khilafat Usmaniya, Sultanate Usmaniya kaha jata hai, and it was ended in 1924. It was a very important event in the political history of India. Dear students, I hope so you got the point that why I played this music over here. Our today's topic, this Khilafat movement, is very much related to this one. That's why I just included this over here. As far as the Ottoman Empire or Khilafat Usmaniya is concerned, nowadays, a Turkish drama serial, Ertuğrul Ghazi and Kuruluş Osman, is very famous in Pakistan and many parts of the world. I hope all of you are watching it or already have watched it. The state television, that is PTV, is also telecasting it in Urdu dubbing. This serial is based on historical facts. The Ottoman Empire was established by Osman, son of Ertugrul Ghazi. That's why it is called Khilafat Osmaniya, that remained for 600 years. This movement, the Khilafat movement, was started in the subcontinent for the protection of that Khilafat. Dear students, the Muslims of India had a great regard for Khilafat, which was held by the Ottoman Empire. During the World War I, the Ottoman Empire joined the war in favor of Germany, the Axis powers. Turkey and Germany lost the war, and Istanbul Accord was concluded between the Allied forces in November 1918. According to this pact, Allies decided to distribute the territories of Turkey among France, Greece, and Britain, the Allies forces. After winning the World War I, the behavior of the Allies made the Muslims apprehensive about their future designs, such as the Allies may take over a part of Turkish Empire and distribute its parts among themselves. Allies may desecrate the holy shrines and even go to the extent of dismemberment of the Turkish Empire. The Muslims cherished the Turkish Ottoman Empire as a symbol of the global Muslim fraternity. All these apprehensions gave out a wave of anger and unrest among the Indian Muslims. Therefore, they started a countrywide mass movement in which the Hindus stood by their side and gave them full support. Dear students, the objectives of this movement were to protect the holy places of Turkey, to maintain the territories of the Turkey, and to maintain the Ottoman Empire. Dear students, now we will discuss about the important events of the Khilafat movement. And the first important event is that of establishment of the Khilafat Committee. On November 23rd, 1919, the All India Khilafat Committee was established. Its purpose was to organize a mass movement. The second important event of the Khilafat movement was Hindu-Muslim unity and non-cooperation. The All India National Congress decided to support the Muslims on the issue of Khilafat. Therefore, Gandhiji brought forward a program of non-cooperation with the government. Dear students, the next important event of the Khilafat movement was the Khilafat delegation. In the year 1920, Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar led a delegation to London, and the purpose of this Khilafat delegation was to convey the demands regarding the Khilafat movement to the British government. But the British government refused to give an ear to it. However, the delegation held some meetings with the general public and explained its position and views to them. Dear students, the next event was that of the Treaty of Sèvres. Sèvres is a suburb of Paris, city of France, where the treaty was held between the Allied forces. in which they decided about the fate of the Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, and they decided to distribute its different parts among the allies forces and the countries. One of the important events of the Khilafat movement was the non-cooperation movement. Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar, Maulana Shaukat Ali, Maulana Zafar Ali Khan, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, and Maulana Hasrat Mohani set the Indian emotions at fire with their speeches regarding the Khilafat. Then all India Hartal strike was observed on the appeal of the Khilafat Committee on 1st of August 1920. Gandhiji was elected the leader of the non-cooperation movement. So, as part of the non-cooperation program, courts were boycotted, government servants resigned services, students all over India quit educational institutions, and many of the British title holders surrendered the other titles and decorations as a protest. Then the British government reacted. Ali brothers Muhammad Ali Johar and Maulana Shaukat Ali were convicted on the charges of high treason and given 2 years of rigorous imprisonment. Civil disobedience is another important event of the Khilafat movement. In November 1921, the people were given a call to break the law and disobey the government by refusing to pay the taxes and by all other possible means. Due to this call, about 30,000 people were arrested by the government. Another important event of the Khilafat movement was the Modular Uprising. Moblahs were a Muslim community settled on the southern Indian coastal areas. In the year 1921, there was a clash between the Moblahs and the Hindu business lords of that area on certain local issues. But these incidents provided the British government a golden opportunity for creating a rift between the Hindus and the Muslims. As the Muslims and Hindus were united because of this Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement. Now after this, the Hindu-Muslim rights were separate throughout India, as the extremists involved in all this from both sides. This state of affairs caused a great setback to the Khilafat movement because the unity between the Muslims and Hindus was shattered. Another important event of the Khilafat movement was that of the Chora Chori incident. This incident took place in the year 1922 when a mob at Chora Chori, which was a small township in Uttar Pradesh, attacked a police station and then set it at fire. Because of this fire, 21 policemen were burnt alive. This was a huge setback for the Khilafat movement. After the Chora Chori incident, Gandhiji called off the civil disobedience. He said, since the civil disobedience movement had deviated from its evolved path of non-violence, so it was necessary to call it off. This decision was taken at a time when the movement had reached its climax. So it was a huge blow for the Khilafat movement. The Muslims and Hindu leaders of the Khilafat movement were stunned at this sudden decision. So most of the leaders thought that this decision was without justification and had caused a great setback to the movement. Dear students, now the last point is the abolition of Khilafat. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk came to power in Turkey. He converted the empire into a republic, and on March 3, 1924, he abolished the institution of Khilafat. This proclamation came as the final death blow to the Khilafat movement in India. As a simple conclusion, we can narrate that two important events brought the end to the Khilafat movement. One was that of the calling off of non-cooperation movement by Gandhi due to certain violent incidents in India, and the second one important was that of the abolition of the Khilafat institution in Turkey. Now, as far as the results and outcomes are concerned, apparently it was a futile effort by the Muslims to keep the institution of the Khilafat alive, but still it had a far-reaching impacts on the Indian politics, that it was the first popular movement in the subcontinent. Then this platform provided the leaders of the public opinion, and then it gave the people the consciousness which resulted in motivating the Muslims, especially towards struggle towards the achievement of Pakistan in the coming days. Then the movement was considered as an important step towards the independence of India. It helped the British rulers to understand that it was impossible to keep India under their control forever. So they started to make their mind to quit India. The Khilafat movement was not able to achieve its main objectives, but it did great service to the Turks who were fighting the war of their survival, the Turkish War of Independence. The speeches and the statements of the Khilafat leaders were translated and separated in Turkey, and it gave the Turk soldiers courage to consolidate and strengthen their position in the areas left for Turkey after the war was over. Dear students, just remember that because of this support by the Muslims of the subcontinent at that time, the Turkish people still regard the Muslims, especially Pakistanis. They respect Pakistanis very much, and they give such a respect to the Turkish people that no other country actually gives to Pakistan. Another outcome of the Khilafat movement was that the failure of the Khilafat movement enhanced the people's trust and confidences in the moderate politicians like Allama Muhammad Iqbal and Qaid-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who did not indulge themselves in the politics of this agitation and emotion, because they believed that no substantial success can be achieved through emotional and agitational politics. So the later results also proved that these leaders were right. That's it for the topic. Now just let's have a quick recap. So far we have discussed about the background and the reasons for the establishment of the Khilafat movement, then the important events of the Khilafat movement and its objectives, and last but not the least, that is the results and the consequences of the Khilafat movement we have discussed. Dear students, now it's time for the assignment. As usual, reading and highlighting page 13 to 15, the Khilafat movement. Learn by heart the definitions and the concepts we have discussed. Then there are certain short questions from the text. These are extra short questions, not from the exercise. It's in the sequence that question number 6, extra short questions. That is, write a short note on non-cooperation movement. Then question number 7, what do you know about the Modular Uprising? As the topic is very important regarding the board papers, therefore there are 2 long questions from this topic. From the exercise. It's question number 6. Give the background of the Khilafat movement and brief account of its major events. You can find its answer on pages 13 to 14. Then question number 7, that is, examine the impact and outcomes of the Tehreek-e-Khilafat in detail. You can find its answer on page number 14 and 15, the last part of the topic we have discussed far. Dear students, thank you for listening the lecture. I will be available for your queries and questions on the WhatsApp group according to the timetable you have been already given. Just stay blessed. Till the next lecture, take care. Allah Hafiz.